A 64-year-old man sits in his living room, looking at a $780,000 traditional IRA on his laptop. A $25,000 Roth conversion looks harmless on the screen. Pay tax now. Reduce future withdrawals later. Create a cleaner retirement account. But the clean number is not the full number. The moment that conversion becomes income, it enters the threshold trade-off trap. One extra line of income can touch several other lines at once. Social Security can become more taxable. Medicare premiums can move closer to a higher tier. Future required distributions can shrink, but the upfront cost may widen first. The conflict is not whether Roth conversions are smart or foolish. The conflict is whether the visible benefit is larger than the hidden income effects around it. And that depends on what the conversion quietly disturbs. The system works like this. A Roth conversion takes money that has been sitting in a pre-tax retirement account and moves it into a Roth account. That movement sounds like a transfer, but for tax purposes, it creates income in the year it happens. The account label changes, and the income signal rises. That is where the trade-off begins. The visible layer is easy to see. A person converts a certain amount. That amount becomes taxable. The tax bill belongs to the current year. In return, the converted money may later sit in a Roth environment, where qualified withdrawals are treated differently from withdrawals out of a traditional IRA. On paper, this looks like a clean exchange. More tax now, potentially less tax later. But retirement income does not move through one pipe. It moves through a network. A conversion is like pouring water into a bucket with several overflow holes. The first hole is ordinary income tax. That one is obvious because it appears directly on the return. But higher up the bucket, there are other openings. One opening is Social Security taxation. Another is Medicare premium exposure. Another is future required distributions. Another is the difference between a married household and a surviving single filer later in life. The same water reaches different holes, depending on how full the bucket already is. This is why the size of the conversion is not the only important number. The surrounding income matters. Wages, pension payments, dividends, interest, Social Security, and retirement withdrawals all sit in the same income environment. A conversion does not arrive in an empty room. It lands on top of whatever is already there. The system does not ask whether the conversion was strategic or well-intentioned. It only sees that more income appeared. That income can raise the number used by different parts of the retirement system. One clear example is Social Security. Many retirees think of Social Security as a separate income stream. Emotionally, it feels separate because it comes from a different source. Mechanically, it is not fully separate. As other income rises, a larger share of Social Security can become taxable. The conversion itself is taxable, but it can also pull more benefit income into the taxable column. The effect is like turning one dial and watching a second dial move with it. Nothing dramatic has to happen. The system simply connects one number to another. Medicare creates a different trade-off. Premiums can change when income moves above certain levels. The difficult part is timing. A conversion happens in 1 year, while the premium effect can appear later because Medicare often looks backward at prior income. That delay makes the relationship harder to feel. The person may remember the conversion as an old decision, while the premium increase arrives as a new bill. The two events are connected, but the connection is not always visible in daily life. Required minimum distributions create the benefit side of the trade-off. Money left in traditional retirement accounts can eventually produce mandatory withdrawals. A conversion reduces the pre-tax balance that may later generate those withdrawals. That can lower future taxable income. But the size of that future reduction has to be compared with the present income created by the conversion. A small conversion may reduce future distributions only modestly. A large conversion may reduce them more, but it can also push current income into crowded territory. The trade-off is not between paying tax and paying no tax. It is between adding income now and possibly removing income later. Tax brackets are part of the picture, but they are not the whole picture. A low current bracket can make a conversion look attractive. A high future bracket can make the future benefit appear stronger. But brackets are only one layer of the system. A person can remain inside the same bracket and still experience other income-linked effects. That is the blind spot. The bracket may stay calm while the surrounding costs shift. Filing status adds another layer. A married couple may have more room inside the tax structure while both spouses are alive. Later, a surviving spouse may face a narrower filing structure with many of the same income sources still present. That does not make conversion automatically right or wrong. It only changes the shape of the trade-off. The mechanism is therefore not a single rule. It is a stack. The conversion sits on top of existing income. Existing income sits near certain thresholds. Thresholds connect taxes, premiums, and future distributions. The result is a chain reaction that may be small in one household and meaningful in another. Nothing in this chain requires panic. It is simply how the retirement income system is wired. The same conversion can be quiet in one year and noisy in another. It depends on how close the household already is to the overflow holes. This is the threshold trade-off trap. The move is visible. The surrounding reactions are easier to miss. Once the income is recorded, the system treats it as part of the retirement income stack. Two retirees can make the same Roth conversion in 2026 and still live with very different results. The action can be identical. The surrounding system can be different. That is where resistance begins to fall away, because the question stops being about the conversion itself and starts being about the environment around it. Consider person A. He is 61, recently stepped away from full-time work, and has not started Social Security. He is not yet on Medicare. Most of his retirement money is still inside a traditional IRA, and his taxable income for the year is unusually low. A $30,000 Roth conversion enters a relatively open income year. It still creates tax. It still has a cost. But it does not land on top of Social Security benefits. It does not interact with Medicare premiums yet. It does not sit above pension income or large investment income. In this case, the conversion is like placing a box on a mostly empty shelf. The shelf still carries weight, but the pressure is easy to see. The theory and the reality are close together. The theory says the converted amount becomes taxable income today. The reality is almost the same. The main cost is the current income tax on the conversion. The possible benefit is a smaller traditional IRA balance later, which may mean smaller required distributions when that stage arrives. Nothing in this example makes the conversion automatically good. It simply shows a clean environment. There are fewer nearby triggers. The visible cost is closer to the total cost. Now consider person B. She is 67, already receiving Social Security, already enrolled in Medicare, and also receives a pension. She has investment income from a taxable account and a traditional IRA that is similar in size to person A's account. She also converts $30,000 in 2026. On paper, the action is the same. In the system, it is not. Her conversion does not land in open space. It lands on top of existing income. The Social Security layer is already active. The Medicare layer is already active. Pension income is already filling part of the bucket. Investment income is already adding weight. The $30,000 conversion may still create future Roth flexibility, but the current year has more moving parts. This is where theory begins to separate from reality. The theory says the conversion is taxed at the current bracket. The reality says the conversion can also change how other income is treated. More Social Security may become taxable. Medicare premium exposure may move closer to a higher tier. The traditional IRA balance may fall, but the present year income stack becomes heavier first. The same conversion amount has become a different event because the room is already crowded. Before the conversion, Person A has a low income year with fewer active retirement triggers. Person B has a full income year with several connected systems already turned on. During the conversion, Person A adds income into unused space. Person B adds income into a stack that may already be close to thresholds. After the conversion, Person A may mostly see one visible cost. Person B may see one visible cost plus several indirect effects. This is not a moral difference. It is not a discipline difference. It is not about who understands money better. It is a placement difference. The conversion has to sit somewhere. Where it sits determines what else it touches. The before and after comparison becomes clearer when the conversion is viewed as an income block. For Person A, the block is placed on a low stack. There is room above it. The block changes the account balance and creates a tax bill, but fewer surrounding systems react. For Person B, the block is placed on a higher stack. It may push against lines that were already close. The block does not become bad because it is a Roth conversion. It becomes more complicated because it is added to a crowded year. This is the cold logic behind the trade-off. The conversion amount alone does not describe the decision. The account balance alone does not describe the decision. The current tax bracket alone does not describe the decision. The surrounding income environment completes the picture. In one case, the conversion behaves like a controlled shift from one tax bucket to another. In the other, it behaves like a new weight added to a structure already carrying several loads. That is the mechanism in its simplest form. Same action, different income stack, different outcome. The more useful observation is that timing, income layers, and threshold distance change what the conversion really becomes. And that is why the next shift is mental, not mathematical. The mental shift begins here. Most people do not misunderstand Roth conversions because they lack intelligence. They misunderstand them because the frame is too narrow. The common frame is simple. A person looks at today's tax rate, imagines a future tax rate, and asks whether paying now might be better than paying later. That frame feels logical. It also feels complete. But the Roth conversion does not live inside that frame alone. It enters the income stack. That is the blind spot. The problem is not only the future tax rate. The deeper issue is what the conversion becomes once it is counted as income in the present year. It may still reduce future withdrawals. It may still create Roth flexibility. It may still make sense in certain income windows. But those benefits do not erase the fact that the conversion first appears as added income. That added income sits beside Social Security, pension payments, investment income, wages, and Medicare calculations. The misconception is that a Roth conversion is mainly a tax strategy. A more complete view is that it is an income coordination event. It changes where money sits, but it also changes what the system sees. The difference sounds small, In retirement, it can be meaningful. A tax strategy focuses on one column. Income coordination looks at the columns beside it. One column may show the conversion amount. Another may show taxable Social Security. Another may show Medicare exposure. Another may show future RMD pressure. Another may show what happens when filing status changes. The conversion touches the account, but the income number touches the system. This is why the trade-off can feel hidden. The benefit is easy to picture. A Roth account feels cleaner. Future tax-free access feels more flexible. A lower traditional IRA balance feels safer. The cost is less visible because it may arrive through different doors. It may appear as more taxable benefit income. It may appear as a premium change later. It may appear as less benefit than expected from a smaller RMD. None of this means the conversion is bad. It means the conversion is not isolated. The better question is not whether Roth conversions are attractive in general. The better question is what the conversion disturbs in a specific income year. When the answer is very little, the trade-off may stay quiet. When the answer is several connected layers, the same move becomes more complex. The number did not change. The frame changed. A Roth conversion in 2026 is not only a tax decision, it is an income event that can reshape several retirement calculations at once. The visible benefit is easy to understand. Money moves into a Roth account. Future withdrawals may become more flexible, and the traditional IRA balance may become smaller. But the hidden trade-off sits in the surrounding system. Once the conversion becomes income, it can interact with Social Security taxation, Medicare premium exposure, future RMD pressure, tax brackets, and filing status. For one household, that interaction may be small. For another, the same conversion amount may create a much wider set of effects. That is why Roth conversions are difficult to judge by a simple rule. The question is not only what the conversion saves later, it is also what the conversion changes now. No advice, just observation. This mechanism leads to a bigger issue we'll explore in the next video. Why retirement income can look stable on paper while becoming fragile once taxes, premiums, and timing begin interacting.